for being on time. Today we have Dr. Jeng joining us to talk about, let's see, from the state of the school to the librarianship. Dr. Jeng, thank you so much for being here. I'm Aaliyah, and I'll be grabbing all of your questions. So if you have anything, just put them in the chat, and I'll grab them for the end of the session. So, Dr. Jeng, after you.
Well, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. It looks like we've got a nice group of people, and there might be other people join us later, and that will be all right too. Basically, I thought what I want to do today is really to give you a sense of where the school is and some of the important initiatives and important things that we're working on right now. And I want to tell you a little bit about my let me do my own slide advancement. That will be a little bit easier for me. And so I also want to tell you a little bit about my current work with the Texas Library Association. I'm so excited about that, and so I don't want you to miss that. Now, TWU has been going through quite a bit of changes, and most recently, the biggest change, of course, was that we got a new chancellor 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago now. She is such a refreshing person, and we have been working under her leadership to really update a lot of the things on campus for the university. One of the very important things, of course, is the strategic plan. We have a new strategic plan for the TWU, and it's called Learn to Thrive, and it's TWU Strategic Plan 2022. I want to start with that because this is a strategic plan that you do not see in a lot of other places. The most important thing is that we are one of the very few universities in the country that focus specifically on women's education. And this particular chancellor, Dr. Phaeton, had basically made it very clear, this is our strength. We want to highlight our strength, and we want to make the best use of our strength. So the whole, this is almost like a tagline. This is the purpose of the university is to educate a woman to empower the world. And this is so refreshing. I have to tell you that I love it. I absolutely think this is something that we can do most of other universities cannot do. It shows how unique we are and how well positioned we are. Now, there are some fundamental core values the university has identified. The value of having confronting the opportunities, getting hold of the opportunities, collaborating, being creative, taking care of our whole person. The chancellor even talks about our education is a whole person education. It is not just about one particular subject area, one particular set of skills. It's about the whole person. And we, of course, have that tradition of being a caring campus. We care about our students. So all these core values really capture what we have learned, what we have known about TWU for years. I want you to know that. The other thing that I thought it was really good about the TWU strategic plan is this whole idea that we want to be able to articulate what is distinctive about us. And the university strategic planning group identified 4 different areas that were distinct as a university. One, of course, is the whole idea of of developing women leadership. And then, of course, the university is very strong with the health sciences, nursing. So that is, discipline-wise, it is a very important part of our university. And the whole idea of experiential learning, that is what we call learn by doing. And this is a very important part, and I can tell you that our school is a big part of it because, for one thing, we are actually one of the few small number of library science programs that require practicum, because we think that students need to be exposed to the real world practice, and they need to have that opportunity before they graduate to really apply the knowledge and skills they learn in the classroom. So we want to be able to connect that. One of the things that we know for the several years now is that TWU is the military-friendly, veteran-friendly university. And this is something that we are so proud of. And in our own program, for example, we know we have quite a few veterans. We have quite a few active military personnel in our program. They're able to do that, to do the study, because we make it possible for them, and we work with people on that. Now, coming from the university mission, the university strategic plan, what we did was the school, the faculty, look at our own mission, and we revised our mission back in November, the end of November. We were already looking into what are the things that are coming out at the campus level, and then we revised our mission. I would like you to take a minute to look at this mission, because this is an important part of what we, the faculty, think we want to shape you, how we want to shape you, how we want to help you develop. We want to help you to become leaders. We want you to know what is evidence-based practice, as opposed to, just going by the instinct, going by the reflect. And we want to be able to back up our decision-making with evidence. And we want our students to be curious, to be innovative, to be able to be engaged in scholarship and research, and also to be able to not just do service, but do exceptional service. Really, really the kind of service that are beyond other people's expectation. And I want us to be able to do that. The only way to do that is we understand what other people's expectations are. We strive for what is much, much higher than that. And of course, we recognize the diversity in our community, and we have to work on that. Now, I don't want to read through all the goals, program goals. These are the kind of things that faculty think that is important for the school. But from these 5 goals, the faculty developed 6 program objectives. Now, those 6 program objectives are actually extremely, they are everywhere. And by saying that, what I'm saying is that faculty are actually required to use all these 6 objectives in their classes. So when you take a class, you look at the syllabus, and then the first thing you see on the syllabus is, of course, a list of learning outcomes or learning objectives. Those learning objectives are actually designed based on these 6 program objectives. And so even though you don't know every single one of those program objectives, you are already practicing that. You are already working in every single course you take toward accomplishing all these objectives. You just don't know, because we integrate all of them into your classes. And this is a very important part of it, and this is actually something that we must do as part of our accreditation as well. So this is something that we're very proud of. And now, program mission goals and objectives are there, and we update them once in a while. But we do all kind of activities day in and day out. What I want to do is to give you a little bit of an update of what we're doing. Why are we so busy, and what kind of things are we cooking today? And because most of them, if you're just taking classes, you may not even encounter some of those things that I'll be talking about on this slide. The first thing that I want you to know is that about 4 years ago, the school, some of the faculty in the school and me began to participate in an interdisciplinary initiative. It's called Informatics. And it's a campus initiative that involves computer science, library and information studies, nursing, and health studies. You see 4 different disciplines in all 4 different colleges. We got together, we talk every other week, and we, in the end, we came up with 2 degree programs at the undergraduate level and 1 degree program at the master's level for informatics. Now, so the Bachelor's of Science in Informatics, and then we have the Master of Science in Informatics. On both levels, we have 1 area of concentration. We call that community informatics. That's about library and information studies. That's where our faculty focus on. And we want to be part of that interdisciplinary planning initiative, because we want to be at the front end of the development of informatics in TWU on this campus. And we made it. And so when we did that, the degree programs in informatics are actually all hosted in the computer science. But we offer courses into those tracks that have to do with community informatics. Because of that, we actually are able to take advantage of those courses, and we offer those courses also to our Master of Library Science students. So if you are students in our program, you can actually take advantage of those courses. And I'll tell you about those courses right now, next to this one. So we actually took this opportunity to do some curriculum update. And so that is one thing that we're very proud of. I really think that the focus on community informatics is going to help us better integrate our program, your studies, into the real communities. Now, there are several other things that we are also doing. One, of course, is one of the faculty members, Dr. Carol Perriman, started the initiative to create this scholarship endowed fund. It's called SLIS Memorial Scholarship Endowed Fund, and this was actually in memory of her daughter, Tara McDonald. But she did not want to use her daughter's name, because she felt like anybody who lost a loved one can also use this particular scholarship to help students. And so we actually were able to have enough money to make this an endowed fund, so that money earned, interest earned from this fund could actually be used in the scholarship. This is a new one. Now, talking about scholarship, this is the time, if you have not done so yet, you need to apply for the university scholarship and the departmental scholarship. The deadline for scholarship application is March 16th. And then this is for the fall. Now, there are other money for the summer, and you should also try if you want to get some scholarship. You know, scholarship money is always good because you don't have to pay back. It's not like student loan, and there is no interest. You don't have to pay back. It's really your money. If you don't apply, you don't get a chance. Okay? And the other thing that we are very excited, and we started this what we call Alumni Connect. This is a program that we connect new students with alumni who are willing to be the resource person for our new students. And so we connect each student with an alumna or alumnus, and then the student can ask any questions, and they could get together if they live close by. We try to do that, and basically so that you're not just taking classes. You also know a few people out there, and you have somebody who is actually working, who can tell you what's going on in the job market and how do you do the interview, a lot of those things, and we just want you to have one more connection. And so those alumni who are able to help us, we call them alumni ambassadors. And so if you want to take advantage of that, please let us know. Miss Kelly Meyer is the one who is matching through. She's the matchmaker, and it's really an interesting, very, very good program. We already have 100 pairs, actually more than 100 pairs, and of alumni and students, and we want to expand as much as people want it. And then, speaking of alumni, we actually started 2 awards. They're not new awards, but they were not really active for a long time. One award is the M. Barnett Service Award that we give out to one alumni, one graduate who's been working in the field. We want to recognize the person's service to the profession. This one takes nomination. And then there is the Janice Key Continuing Education Award. For those of you who have already graduated and you would like to, say, attend a conference or doing some kind of continuing education, and if you would like to have a few $100 to add to your to cover your expense, this is the one that you want to apply. Both of them are now open for nomination, for application. If you take a look at our website, you will see information about how to apply. Please pass the words, because these are the kind of things that we feel like this is what we could do for our alumni as the payback for what they do for us. And so that's just a few things to show you the kind of highlight. The most important thing is I want you to know there are several courses that we are beginning to design. One course is basically has been there for a long time, but we want to change the way the course is. And then there are about 5 different courses that we are actually creating. They're new ones. The first one, of course, is the systems analysis and design. It's now called systems analysis and design. We are actually looking into this course, changing the course into more of a user experience course. And there are a lot of places that are looking for user experience librarians. Basically understanding the user need, understanding how to do user study, and then how to integrate what you learn about the needs, the user profiles, how to integrate all that into your system design. It's a very, very important topic. There are several other special topic courses. These are courses that all have 5903, the course number, but these are the courses that are new. And assessment course, because everybody is talking about outcome-based evaluation, and they want you to be able to demonstrate your return of investment. Even in the public library, in the school library, you need to be able to tell people you're valuable. What's the best way to do that? Use numbers. Use actual evidence to do that. And then the other course that is going to be offered, the next course that's going to be offered in the fall, is one called Instructional Programming for Adults. This is to help librarians become teachers. You are teaching, whether you're teaching one-to-one or you're teaching in small groups, you're teaching regardless of the type of library that you're working. And so that's the kind of thing that it's better to understand the andragogy, the pedagogy, and the user experience, user behavioral, and then to learn the instructional design and all those things. And we have one for school librarians, but we don't have any course that's not for school librarians, and that's the reason why we created this course. A few other things: grant writing and management course is going to be offered in the summer. And so if you already finished the required courses, think about taking this course, because regardless of the type of libraries you're in, at some point you're going to have to ask for money. And if you want to ask for money, you better make a case. How do you know? Do you know how to write a grant? If you get a grant, do you know how to manage the grant? And so we'll be doing that. There are two courses in here. One is Communities in Knowledge Economy. The other is Community-Based Project Design. These two courses are really specifically designed for community informatics, but the more and more libraries need to be much more engaged in the community. And we really want the community informatics to be the center of that informatics program. And so these two courses, Dr. Maston is offering Communities in Knowledge Economy right now, and it will be offered, I think, every year. And then we'll be offering a course called Community-Based Project Design. Basically, how do you design a project? Either a research project, implementation project. How do you design a project in the real community? And so this is really, I'm really excited about the things that are coming up, all these new courses. And of course, we got new faculty members who are doing some of the really interesting, innovative things. And so I'm really excited about it. Okay, this next thing is a big deal. And I want you to know this is what keeping me awake and keeping me tied to the computer all weekend for I don't know how long. And we are in the process of doing what we call the accreditation review. And what do we mean by accreditation? Well, the school has two programs, the Master of Library Science and Master of Art in Library Science, which rarely has any student in it. But we have the 2-degree programs at the master's level. Both of them are accredited by American Library Association. The school itself was founded in 1928, and our school was actually the first in the entire Southwest that was accredited in 1938. And I think I lost that D somewhere, accredited. And we are the oldest accredited program, library science program in Southwest. The last time we were accredited was in 2010. That was basically reaffirmed. The accreditation was reaffirmed, was everything intact, everything was just fine. And it's been 7 years, so we need to do our next accreditation. Why are we doing accreditation? Basically, accreditation is a process that we invite somebody who knows nothing about our program to come over and take a look at everything we do. And our goal is for them to tell us, you have a high quality program. And that's what we want. And what does it mean, good quality, high quality? Well, we need to show evidence that we do have our mission goals and objectives. We have to show evidence that we, whatever we do, whatever we teach our students, all are in line with our mission. And we need to show them that we have a cohesive, up-to-date curriculum. We have high-quality faculty resources to help with all the things we need to do. We have very well-managed enrollment. In other words, we recruit students because we want the students to be successful, not because the students pay the tuition. Yes, we do need the tuition, but the most important thing is more than money. It is we care about the success of our students. And then, of course, in the end, you have to have administrative, financial, and physical resources and electronic resources to support everything we do. So all of those things are actually in there. All those things are there are some principles prescribed in the standard for accreditation, and that's the 2015 American Library Association standard for accreditation, and they basically address all these 5 different areas. Now, who are involved in an accreditation review? American Library Association has this body called Committee on Accreditation. There are 12 people serving on this committee, and I actually served 4 years on the committee from 2010 to 2014. And so I know quite well, actually, in pretty detail, exactly how the accreditation process is done. And this committee basically decides whether we are re-accredited. And in order to do that, they ask us to submit what we call self-study report. Basically, we submit a report that says, this is how we evaluate ourselves. Now, that's not good enough. There is this external review panel. There are 5 people on this panel who have nothing to do with us. In fact, if they have anything to do with us personally, they cannot serve on this panel because of conflict of interest. So those 5 people are going to come on campus to verify everything we say in our report. So if we say we have this many people, they want to know, do you really have this many people? If we say we're teaching this, they want to know whether we are indeed teaching this. How do they know that? They're going to look at all our courses. They're going to interview students. They're going to interview the graduates. They're going to interview every single faculty member and a lot of administrators on campus. And it's not just the campus constituents. It's also the external constituents, people who have already graduated, alumni, or people who we invite to help us, for example, adjunct instructors, or employers, people who want to hire our students, or sometimes people who don't want to hire our students. I certainly hope that's very, very few of them. And so they want to know, they want to hear from all different people, all different kinds, different groups, and then based on that, they write a report, they submit a report to the Committee on Accreditation, and Committee on Accreditation use their information and our report to decide whether we are re-accredited for another 7 years. And that's what I'm hoping. And the timeline here, I'm doing it in the reverse chronological order because this is how you plan. You visualize forward, but you plan backward. In other words, you create your vision forward, but when you're planning in terms of the timeline, you go from the end and then you come back. So the accreditation decision will be made by the end of June. But before that, I need to meet with the Committee on Accreditation. But before that, the external review panel needs to come over and take a look at all the things and then verify everything we said, and then ask questions if we don't have that information in the report. So they'll be here. But we have just submitted this self-study report, and in fact, let me show you what we have. This is the self-study report. Is 140 pages and actually 148 pages with 63 appendices. And so we spent about 2 years writing this report. And we send this report out to them already, and so they are now reading this report. Now, what do we write in this report? Everything we have done since fall 2009 to summer 2016, and there are other things that we are doing right now. We also need to talk about, and then we need to talk about the future. And before that, we actually have to submit what we call a plan for how we do our self-study a year before. Now, this all started 2 years ago when the Chancellor wrote a letter to the American Library Association inviting them to conduct an accreditation report for our program. So you see how formal it is. And the one item that I highlighted here, the ERP site visit, the external review panel site visit, is the one that I want to talk to you. If you are within driving distance, if you are available on Sunday, April 2nd, can I ask you to please join us? And you might be alumni, or you might be student. And because the external review panel, the 5 people on that panel are going to be here, they want to talk to you. They want to see you. And this is a face-to-face, in-person kind of meeting. And so if you live too far, don't worry about it. But if you're within the driving distance, can you send an email to SLIS@twu.edu and tell me that you are available to attend, and we'll give you information about it. I would really, really appreciate more participation if you could. So this is our accreditation, and it is a big, big, big deal. And we are very comfortable with the report we wrote. We are comfortable with a lot of the questions they asked us. But, you know, we're still nervous, and that's okay. I know faculty are nervous about it, and we've been working pretty much every day on this one single big issue. Okay, that's about the school. And it's not good enough yet, because I also want to tell you my other life, and that is with the Texas Library Association, because I was elected to be the president-elect back in, let's see, last year in April, and since then I have been serving as the president-elect. The first thing I did, of course, was to ask the question, what does president-elect do? It turned out that it's a lot. What I want to tell you a little bit about this is that Texas Library Association is not the same as any other association you ever had. And this is a state library association. It is the chapter of the American Library Association, but it's not just a chapter. It is an entity of its own. And we are the biggest state chapter association, a state library association. I'm going to sneeze. Maybe not. The Texas Library Association was founded in 1902. We now have about 7,000 members. It runs an annual budget about $3 million, income about $3 million, expenditure about $2.9, $3 million. And the association itself is not just one entity. It's got 4 divisions: the College and University Library Division, the Public Library Division, the Special Library Division, the Texas Association of School Libraries, all 4 divisions. And then there are 21 roundtables and 2 interest groups. There are 10 districts all over the place in Texas. And you've got the District 1 and 2 up there in the Panhandle area, and then you've got District 3 right in the middle, that's Austin, and then you've got District 10 right next to it in San Antonio, District 6 in El Paso. You have a lot of different places. Wherever you live in Texas, you have a district of Texas Library Association that you could actually go and socialize and participate in the activity in there. Now, the association itself is run by an executive board and the council. The executive board make policies when the council is not in session, but otherwise the council make policies. The board basically implement the policies and also supervise the executive director. And then the whole association has, just at the association level, we have 26 committees and 7 task forces. Now, task forces change every year, but 26 committees. Do you know what I've been doing this past few months? I've been trying to do the committee appointments. I have already appointed about 100 people to different committees, and I have another 66 I am ready to send out for all different kind of committee appointments. And then later on, I will have maybe another 20, 30. During my term as president-elect and the presidency, I will probably appoint more than 250, probably close to 300 people to serve on various committees. That is mind-boggling. I don't know that many people. And so it's a huge learning curve for me. It's so much fun. The last thing, of course, is Texas Library Association has a big headquarters in Austin. It is run by the executive director who supervises 15 staff person. And so you can see how big this is. And now, the biggest thing, of course, was the Texas Library Association, from our perspective as members, is when we go to conferences. Now, when I saw the statistics, it was just unbelievable. When I'm looking at all kind of library associations in all different states, you can see that these are basically the number of people who attend conferences, their library association conferences in all different states, from Alaska all the way down, about maybe 100 people attending, all the way to California. California Library Association annual conferences have about more than 1,000 people attending every year, sometimes higher, sometimes close to 1,200 people attending. And you can see that people are very active with the annual conferences, because this is a very important place for members to get their professional development. But if you notice that I did not include Texas in here, because the moment I include Texas in this chart, it becomes this way. You notice that when I put all the things in here, Texas, the average attendance, average number of people who attend each annual conference in Texas Library Association annual conference is about 7,000 people. And this, to compare with this one with California, which this next one is about 12,000, you can see how big our conference is. You can see that this is an extreme and enormous entity. It's so active, so involved in the member professional development. Now, the next conference is coming up in April. This is conference for the president, the current president, Walter Betts, and who is actually one of our adjunct faculty members. And his conference is going to be in San Antonio from April 19th to 22. And his conference, he's got a theme. His theme is Own Your Profession. You know how many programs, I'm on the program planning committee for his conference, and we've been working on this conference for about a year and a half. We are going to have a total of more than 300 programs just within about 3 or 4 days. That's what we're talking about here. This is exciting. So many programs, just wonderful programs, innovative ideas, new ideas that we don't have time to teach you in the classroom, or you just need some refresher. This is a conference that you really don't want to miss. Now, my conference is going to be in 2018. That's going to be in Dallas, and it's April 10th to 13th. I already have a theme. The theme is called Perfecting Your Game, a Win for Your Community. And but I don't have the logo yet. That's the reason I can't show you the logo, so I show you a TWU picture. And this is something that we have already been working on. I have my committee, my program planning committee in place back in August last year. And then the committee has been meeting every month for a whole afternoon every month, and we have come up with a theme for the conference, and then we are now, well, yesterday we were arguing about the logo. People like certain things, and some people don't like, some people like certain colors, some people don't like, all the things, but of course in the end, I guess I'm going to have a little more say about it. But it's a lot of fun, and we are trying to come up with, again, another 300 more than 300 programs for all the people in all types of libraries in Texas. And that's what we want to do. Now, what is my conference about? Well, my conference is about community engagement. My whole presidency is about community engagement. Why? What does that mean? When you talk about community engagement, you're really talking about this concept that librarians are the ones to make the community stronger. Librarians use information and technologies to facilitate positive changes in the community. This is the sentence that I want everybody to remember. Librarians don't just check out books. Librarians don't just work on, reference desk. Librarians don't just catalog. We are the ones who need to be in the community. What does that mean when we say librarians who are competent in delivering positive changes in the community, in using information, using technology for community engagement? What it means is librarians keep up and learn. Librarians are proactive change agents. Librarians are honest owners, not just helpers in the community. Librarians strive to provide what we call positively outrageous service. This is actually not a new idea. It's an idea that's been around since the 1990s by a guy named Scott Rose. And this whole idea that I want to do much, much more than what other people can expect. And librarians embrace multiple perspectives. We embrace diverse frame of references. We we accept all different types, all different perspectives. That's a very important part of it. The whole idea of community engagement, it needs to be embedded. We need to have the full ownership in the community. We need to build the relationships with all stakeholders in the community, not just the people who come into our library. We need to be able to recognize where the assets are and use those assets to be the basis for our programming, for our services. We need to build coalitions to have that, to achieve what we call collective impact, because we cannot do it ourselves. We need to see our libraries as the backbone of the infrastructure in the community, and we are the ones who drive the development in the community. We are there not as a librarian, but as a person, a member in the community. And when we do that, other people will recognize us, will recognize our competencies. That probably is the best way for anybody to advocate for me. If I don't want the state legislature to cut my budget, if I don't want my city council to cut my budget, I can go to the meeting. I could meet with the city manager. I could meet with the state senator, and I could be screaming and yelling about how much I do. It doesn't matter. It's not as strong as somebody in the community going to Jay Nielsen, my senator, and say, you know what? Do you know that the librarians do this? I was in the library. I was in one of the events in the community. The librarian was there. And I love what the librarian is doing. And, you know, that's the kind of words that it's going to make the most impact. It is much more important to have those words from the community than to have words ourselves. And advocating for yourself is actually should never be the first choice. And that's what I want. I want people to be able to see that we need to build a coalition. We need to take care of all the stakeholders. Just because you're a school librarian doesn't mean that you only serve your students. No, you serve your teachers, you serve your parents, you serve your district staff, and you have to know that, and because if you don't know them, they are not going to know you, and that's where I would like to make this go, if I can make the impact, I would like to make some impact during this time when I do my presidency in the Texas Library Association. Anyway, I want to show you this. This is a stained glass in the little chapel in the woods, and I want to show you this one as the end of my presentation, which is almost a whole hour. And there are a few minutes. If anybody would like to offer your comments or your questions, any question that that you want to ask me.
Thanks so much, Dr. Jeng. I've compiled several of the questions. Jenny would love to hear more about the career-long opportunities for development.
Career-long opportunities for development. First, it starts with your job. You learn not only how to do the work that you are hired to do, you also learn from your colleagues, you learn from all the people you come in contact with. It starts with your job. But if you think that you only learn on your job, then you are too narrow. You need to take a look at all the networking opportunities, and so join the association. If you say I cannot afford that much money, then go to the local group. You must know a few other librarians. Create your own group and then have a book club to talk about your own development. Have a book club about leadership development. Have a book club about, promoting literacy. Have a book club about marketing. And just talk about different things and read, share what you read, and then shadow other people. You have to, the most important thing is not to wait for anybody to give you, okay, Ginny, here are 3 things you need to do in your career development. Don't wait. That's too late. You create your own opportunity. That's the only way you are going to be able to learn lifelong. If you don't go out and create the opportunities for learning, you are not going to last.
Okay, wonderful. She said specifically the ongoing options that you mentioned earlier in the webinar.
The webinar. You mean the webinar the school created for people?
I guess if that's one of the things. Hold on, she's typing.
We do try. We try to have different webinars that we have. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. At least 4 of them already. Just this last 2 years, and I did a webinar for the access-based community development, and then we had another webinar to talk about marketing and assessment, and we will be doing webinar, and that certainly is something, it's free, and so anytime we have the webinar, we will send out the publicity information, and just go ahead and sign up and join us. And we also record the webinar and we put it on the website so you can see that. Any other questions?
Okay.
I'm sorry, Leah.
We also, go ahead.
So just to clarify, Jenny has mentioned she was talking about number 6 on the current slide for planning for continuous career-long professional development. Yes. So I think it does tie into what you were talking about before about really taking advantage of opportunities. Yep. And just really inquiring a bit more if you don't quite know. So Jenny, if you have any specific targeted questions for this number, feel free to let us know via email, and we can definitely pass them along to Dr. Jeng, and we can go from there.
I'll be happy to talk to you anytime.
Yeah.
Okay, our next question was from Paige. She wants to know how to get involved with Alumni Connect.
Send an email to Kelly Meyer. Let's see, that's K-M-E-Y-E-R. Let's see, I was just trying to see whether it's, I know her email has
Earlier I grabbed it as you were talking, so they have the information to contact Kelly Meyer.
Oh, good. Yeah, and contact Kelly, K Meyer 2. I know there's a number at the end. Contact Kelly and tell Kelly that you would like to be part of the Alumni Connect. She'll do it. She'll make it happen.
Okay, wonderful. Our next question was, what type of library does the assessment course focus on?
It actually is for all types of libraries because the assessment is such an important topic. When you are, well, a lot of academic libraries are now hiring assessment librarians. But that's not the only type of library that needs assessment. Schools have all been doing assessment for a long time because K-12 education assessment is student learning outcome assessment is a big part of it. Even public libraries, more and more public libraries are asked to justify what you do. And if you can say for every dollar of tax money that you invest in my library, I return $4.5 to the community, then that's a wonderful investment. How do you do that? How do you do the return of investment calculation? And those are the things, and why do you do that? How do you make a case? How do you present data? How do you analyze data? And how do you present data in a way that would speak to the person who control your purse string?
Wonderful, thank you. Next we have a question from Kat. Is there any interest in having alumni support special topics courses, either through adjunct teaching or serving as a course guest?
What do you mean alumni support course?
So the special topics courses on your What to Watch For slide, does the school have any interest in involving alumni in those courses as adjuncts or guests?
Oh yes, if anybody, any graduates who are listening right now, if you are interested in teaching our courses, contact me. And now I don't take everybody because I do want to know that there is a good match. There is the accumulated experience, expertise in the area before I hire the person, because I want to make sure if there is a good match. I want to make sure that the students are actually getting the most. So yes, and if anyone who is interested in doing alumni, any alumni interested in teaching, talk to me, and we may be able to make it happen. I cannot promise.
Wonderful. Another question we had on the courses to watch for, are they available for continuing education?
Yes.
So for instance, Paige is interested in the adult programming course.
Yes. If you have already graduated, all you have to do is to apply for non-degree seeking admission. And then you could just take whatever course you want as part of your professional development. You do not have to be in a degree program.
Okay, thank you for that. Let's see. How are constituents chosen to assist with the accreditation process?
We made a long list of each type, a long list of alumni, a long list of students, a long list of employers, and then we sent out invitation, and then people who agreed to help us, and we put them all together, and then we matched the volunteers with the area that would be good, and they work with the faculty and on different teams. It actually is a quite involved process.
Okay, awesome. Jenny just asked if there's a cost associated with the continuing education.
If it is a course, yes, you have to pay the tuition. And if you apply for non-degree seeking admission, yes, there is a $50 applied taxes fee. Otherwise, if it is like this kind of webinar, there is no cost, other than that you just make sure you are right next to the computer, you log in during the time of the webinar.
Okay, awesome, thank you. We might have missed this, but how can alumni get involved with this strategic plan? Could you repeat some of the information about the events coming up on April 2nd?
Okay, the events coming up on April 2nd, let me see. Yeah, this is the one. There are two events on Sunday, and it's from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. We want to have a reception. All the 5 people on the external review panel will be here on Saturday. And then the Sunday is they're going to work the whole day on Sunday. In the morning, I will give them briefing. I will answer whatever questions they have. And then in the afternoon, we have a reception for them from 2 to 3, you know, cookies, punch, that kind of thing, so that they could meet you. And then between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock, we would like to separate people into 4 different groups. The student group, the alumni group, the employers group, the adjuncts group, because the questions they want to ask to each group may not be the same. And we would like them to have the opportunity to talk to all of you who come without us listening in. And because we certainly don't want to coach you about what to say, other than I hope you say all the good things. And that's the kind of thing that, we don't want to take up too much of your time, so an hour the most, and that's pretty much what we have on that day. And then on Monday, they're going to spend the whole day interviewing all individual faculty members and individual administrators on campus, including the chancellor. And each one of them is going to have like maybe 30 minutes, an hour of interview. And then Tuesday morning, they're going to interview more people, and then they're going to write up some observations. In the afternoon on Tuesday, they're going to give us what they call the exit interview. In other words, they're going to give me a little bit of summary of what they see, and I'm hoping they all their questions are answered to their satisfaction. And that's our goal.
Okay, thank you. And just to clarify, this is going to be on campus in Denton?
Yes, it's going to be in Denton. It's going to be on campus, and we will make sure parking is not a problem.
Wonderful. And now we just have one last question from Katrina. Will Learn to Thrive also include the alumni in some way as well? I think this was at the beginning.
That strategic plan, the first version has already been done, and now the strategic plan is for the university. The alumni and local constituents, the external constituents, were already consulted at the beginning. The chancellor actually has quite a few different meetings. And then she invites a lot of people from the community, the alumni, TWU alumni, business leaders, community leaders, the government, the nonprofit people, and she invited all of them. There were listening sessions. We basically just listened to what they say, and so it was an extremely involved process. And I know that her idea is that a strategic plan is really a living document. We don't ever finish doing that. Next time, in maybe a year or two, we might want to update that. She might want to have another listening session. We might have more meetings. We might be meeting with other constituents more. Now, in terms of the school, when we do the strategic plan, what we do, the faculty are the ones who do the plan, but every time we go to Texas Library Association, we have a meeting for alumni to come and talk to us. And I would like all the alumni to come talk to us. And this year, I actually have a president-elect suite. I would like to have the meeting in my suite. And so, you know, maybe we could have a little bit of wine and a little bit of hors d'oeuvre and that kind of thing. I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
Thank you. That's great. All right. It looks like we're a little bit over time, but I think it's been wonderful. I've learned so much about that. I was not expecting so much from you today, but thank you so much. And also like to thank. Well, of course. We'd be glad to have you for next year's. I'd also. Awesome. I'd also like to thank everybody who came, and if you have any other questions or would like to ask anything of Dr. Jeng or of Lisa, just feel free to email us. We'll be sending out a survey sometime after all the webinars. And don't forget that tomorrow we will have Julie Todaro at 9 a.m. for an hour webinar. And thank you again, Dr. Jeng.
If you don't know her, she is dynamic. Don't miss her session. She is one of the women that I admire so much. The other woman that I admire a lot is Carla Hayden, the Librarian of Congress.
Okay, thank you. I hope everybody has a great day.
Thank you.